Alright guys, so I'm back in my reptile room. I was feeding some snakes and kind of going through some tubs, spot cleaning. And kind of had a snake emergency, if you can believe it or not. So it's the first time I've ever seen this problem. So take a look at this girl up here. This is my Arizona mountain male, female way up here on the top. And let me bring her down. I actually pulled all her bedding and everything out. So what happened to this girl is I've been using these moss balls, and so I basically put sphagnum moss in this netting, and the netting, let me show you the netting. I got it off of eBay. I have a whole bag of it up here, and I haven't had any problems. I've been using it for almost a year, and it's kind of it's what they use to put like vegetables in. Well, the problem with this, for this particular snake in this particular situation, he got his head stuck. And he basically tried to go through the middle of the moss ball. So this snake was actually halfway in the moss ball, sticking out the other side, and it was stuck. And if you look right here, he is really, really swollen up. And I just barely got it off. And so I was trying to get him out of the moss ball. And believe it or not, I've been doing snakes for, what, almost 5 years now, and I've never really been bitten. You know, I've been tagged a little bit, like just a little love tap, but I've never been really bit where a snake grabbed onto me and just clamped on. And I didn't think this snake could do that much damage, but he got me pretty good right on the knuckle. And he grabbed on, he wouldn't let go, and it was because I was, it's just a minor little abrasion. It didn't even hardly hurt at all, but he was not happy I was trying to get that off of him. So basically what I did is, you know, sometimes I'll bring snakes to the vet, and if it's a really bad emergency and I can't feel like I can handle it, I'll bring the snake to the vet. But in this case, I felt like I could handle it. So I actually had a snake that lost an eye, and then about a year later lost another eye. It was completely blind, and then his scales were falling off, and I thought, man, this snake is gone. It's just too far gone. It was actually a king snake, and I don't know what was wrong with that king snake. It was still alive, and it was falling apart. It was really weird. So I tried to gas it with CO2 like I do my rats, and I gassed it for so basically I gassed initially for 30 seconds and then let him sit in there for an additional 3 minutes. And I gassed him, and he came back to life. And then I thought, man, I'm going to gas him again. So I gassed him for another 5 minutes. I left him in there for 5 minutes, turned off the gas, gave him some air, and he snapped out of it again. So then I thought, this is kind of weird. And the comment gave me the idea, hey, this could be a good way to euthanize a snake for a medical procedure. And that is exactly what I did with this snake. So I put him in my little gas chamber, and I gassed him for 3 minutes, and he was totally unconscious. And I was able to actually pull up the little bit of stuff that was still on him. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put him in this povidone iodine water, if I can kind of submerge him a little bit without getting bit again. And you know, I'll probably do a fresh tub and fresh bedding, but I just kind of wanted to show you kind of what I do. As a matter of fact, let me change this tub out. It's probably not good for him to be in a dirty tub with that wound. So here he is in a clean tub. I give him another quick soak in the iodine. And these snakes, they're pretty resilient when it comes to wounds and whatnot. So I'd imagine that he would heal up really fast. But probably what I'll do is I'll get rid of this netting on here. And I actually had a viewer say, hey, why not use pantyhose? And I thought that was a great idea. And if you kind of look at the bottom here, this is basically everything that falls through this netting, and it kind of makes a mess throughout the tub. And I think a pantyhose, it's a little more expensive, And I was kind of hesitant to go that way just because of the cost, and I didn't really have a problem up until now, but I think I'm definitely going to go with the pantyhose. And the other thing I like about it is it'll hold all the sphagnum moss so it won't fall apart all through the tub, and it'll definitely prevent this from happening. So I just thought I'd share. One more thing. So I have this big retic over here. Her name's Lucy, and I gave her a couple rats, and what I need to do is put this bowl of water in her cage without getting bit. And let me tell you, if you get bit by a retic, that snake is like 50 pounds. It's a monster. And if you got bit and coiled by a retic, they say you'd have to go to the hospital and get stitches. It's, you see me kind of joking around and playing with my retic, but it's no joke if you get bit by one of those snakes. And they can do a little flesh damage. The one thing you don't want to mess with a retic is to get them wrapped around your neck, or in a big snake like that, have them wrap around your torso where they can choke you out. You really have to watch that. But normally you can kind of read them very well. And a little snake like this, I didn't really read this snake. I should have known, but I didn't think. I mean, take a look at this guy's head. How small the head is. And that head is so small, I didn't even think he could break the skin. Come to find out, he can. So I'll show you how I'm going to put the water in with my retic with him in feeding mode and without getting bit. All right, guys, so here's my setup. I'm going to put the bowl in there, fill it with some water. And let me tell you, the snake hook is your friend. This is my big, huge, long snake hook. And you never really want to pick up a snake with a snake hook. You'll see some guys, going out in the desert and picking up rattlesnakes with the snake hook, and it's not really good on the snake to pick them up with a snake hook. And the snake hook is really designed just to divert attention. Basically, so there's different modes that snake are in. There's feeding mode, which Lucy's in right now. She wants a third rat, which I'm not going to give her. And so basically I want to snap her out of feeding mode to put her into handling mode. And in handling mode, some people say, yeah, why don't you let your snakes run around the house? The problem is actually when Lucy was small, this big retic here, I did let her sit on the couch with me, and I thought, I'll watch TV with my retic. And the problem is they're fine for a few minutes, and they switch to feeding mode, and now you have a snake sitting right next to you in feeding mode, wanting to snap your hand. It's not a good idea to have snakes loose out in the house. So I take her out, and I always make sure that she is in handling mode the whole time. And a good way is to always kind of keep a hand on her and keep her in handling mode. If you let her go by herself, cruising through the house, she'll almost always go into feeding mode. So that's one thing you got to watch with these retics. And take a look at this. See if we can do this without getting bit. So she is like primed and ready. That is a snake in feeding mode. She's kind of got quick head movements, and before she gets too far out of the cage, I'm just gonna say, hey, we're not gonna feed you again. No. And this could be bad because she is really in feeding mode, especially after the last 2 rats. So now she's kind of unpredictable right here, but she's far enough away to where I can get it in here. And usually a retic that's not in feeding mode is a slower retic. So see how she's kind of slowed down right there? Now she's kind of in more of a handling mode versus a feeding mode. Yeah, she almost. There's one time where I opened this tub and she came out so fast and aggressive that she almost bit me right in the chest. And that was a little frightening. So you really have to watch these retics because they really have a long reach. But she's a really pretty snake. So now she's definitely in. So I can handle her, and she's all right. But yeah, we don't want to have her too out and have her go back into feeding mode. So So that's pretty much it. Kind of a snake emergency, and I guess this is, I mean, technically this is really my first real snake bite. You know, I've been tapped a little bit, especially by these hatchlings, and I've had a few that, you know, it was basically just a grab and go, I guess you would call it. But this is my first real grab and coil, and it was because, you know, it was a wounded snake, and I was trying to get the plastic out from in the wound. So the plastic basically got all around the snake, and then the snake's body swelled up, and it was swollen up around the netting, and the netting was like really buried in the flesh of the snake, and I was trying to get it out. And it looks like the swelling went down quite a bit. I think that snake's going to be okay. So thanks for watching, and I'll definitely see you next time.